And welcome back again. I decided I would do another one since I was bored and up and all. So the chat's working. I see where someone in the last one that I just did, my chat wasn't showing. I don't know why. But they said that the bassist of my favorite band, Love Bites, had announced that they had quit the band today, which is awful. Um, I don't know what to think about that until I verify it and stuff like that. So I will definitely, you know, have to check that little fact out before I allow myself to get all upset. So, okay, what I'm going to do now is I want to talk about a little thriller slasher that a lot of people may not know about or have heard of, which is usually my goal on this channel, which is to spotlight lesser known, to spotlight the lesser known movies that maybe a lot of other people don't know about or haven't seen. And what I'm going to be discussing now is a little movie called Acolytes. And it's a weird little picture. The butterfly has significance in this movie. But yes, it's called Acolytes. It's from 2008, directed by Jon Hewitt, starring Joel Edgerton, Michael Dorman, and Sebastian Gregory. And I also put the chick that's in it down there in the thing too. This is a. I read about this movie, so I went hunting for it and managed to find it. It wasn't easy to find, to get a physical copy because people know that's what I prefer is physical copies. So I did manage to find it, and I was blown away. I really, really like this movie. It begins with these three friends: a boyfriend, a girlfriend, and their friend. And the friend likes her, but she's with him. See me doing the finger things there. The friend likes her, but she's with him. But it starts out like, for like the first, I guess, 20 minutes, 20, 25 minutes, you think, you're like thinking, this is a very good atmospheric, it's a very good atmospheric, angsty teen drama or something because these kids are quite obviously on the fringe and they act kind of kind of a little dark. All three of them act a little dark. Now, in the meantime, you're seeing some guy digging, some girl that when the movie first begins, there's like this girl obviously running like a slasher movie through the woods. And you see a guy digging a hole and stuff like that. So there's murder involved. Something's going on. So you now have these three kids. They're like, it takes about 20 minutes of them building up their characters. They're very dark. They have a lot of dark angst going on. And in the meantime, you're still wondering about this chick that was in the running through the woods. So you find out that there's a girl missing in town amongst several women that have been, missing in town. And just to kind of show you, let's look at the. Uh, there's no synopsis. Nobody put a synopsis on it. On okay, well, there is a suspected serial killer on the prowl. There's missing women in the area, and now this young girl has gone missing, which they know. They know her, so she's been missing. And as the angst continues, you also find out that this other guy, that's a little older than them, that's older than them. We're talking about they were in eighth grade and he was like a senior. So it's like a big kind of, 4 or 5 years difference between their ages. And he was in prison for some, I don't even know if they really discuss why, but he is now out and he is after, he's trying to leave them alone. But they are very, very angry with him about something, this guy that was in prison. So they kind of want to get him back. Now, later on, you find out that the reason they're angry is because he sort of like date raped them. I was trying to think of the right way to put it because, they weren't children. He didn't molest them. He was not an adult and they were not kids. Um, he was like a senior and they were like freshmen or eighth or ninth grade, maybe eighth grade or something. So he didn't like a he just got them off and sexually assaulted them is what he did, but they consented to it. So I guess they're dealing with, that's why I had a hard time, like, they consented to the activity. And, but now they think of him as having pressured them into consenting to that activity. So I don't know. You really don't really know how to take it other than they're very pissed and they want vengeance on him. So you have this, like, at first it seems like you're going through this weird teen drama type thing. And but then here it comes. The boy, we'll call him the black-headed boy, he, let's see, who was he? A report to use their name, Ian. So you have Ian and Gary and Mark. So one of them's got black hair, the other's got blonde hair, and the girl's got black hair. So the black-headed boy, he goes out into the woods. He's like, ran across that guy that got out of prison, and he's like ran out into the woods after being chased, where he runs across someone burying something in a hole. He sees them from behind the trees and he watches them bury something in the hole. So he goes back and he tells his two friends, the girl and the guy, about this. They go back out into the woods and they dig up, thinking that it was drugs or money. So they dig it up. Now he saw what the dude was driving when the dude left the forest. So they go back to dig up, thinking it was drugs or money or something like that. And instead, they find a dead girl. Not the missing girl, though, another dead girl. So now it starts turning into a horror movie. So they have found this dead girl, and he goes back and tells his friends, when they all go back to town, they don't really know what to do. They're going to go call the police, but the blonde, he is like a really psycho. He's really out there, damaged. So he's like, no. They tried to call, but then they like changed in the middle of it. And the dark headed guy's like, well, what are you doing? And he's like, no, no, no. I've got a new plan. So they begin to look for the truck. And like I said, the butterfly, it's got a significance in the movie because on the back of the Jeep, there was the wheel cover, and the wheel cover had a giant butterfly on it. So they go all over town looking for this person. They go looking for the individual with this butterfly on the back of the Jeep. It takes them a while. I mean, it's not a super small town, but it's not, you know, super huge either. So it takes them a while. They end up finding out who, and they follow him home. These kids, they're all like 17. They've got balls, all three of them, because they actually have discovered a serial killer. And rather than go to the police, they think they're bad enough. They think they're big and bad enough to blackmail the serial killer. Hence the title of the movie, Acolytes. That's someone who strives to be what this better person is, an acolyte of this image, of this person, but they are way out of their depth. They're only acolytes. They are not the thing that they are emulating. So they've got, there's this active serial killer who's who we discover has killed lots and lots of people, and these little punks want to blackmail him. They break into his house, find out his name, all that kind of stuff. They call him on the phone and let him know that they were in the house. Let him know that they know who he is and what he's done, and that they want to talk to him. So he talks to them, and he can tell that they're teens on the phone. And he's like, are you sure you know what you're doing? And they're like, look, you're going to do something for us, or we're going to turn you into the cops. Okay. What do you want? They want him, since he's already a murderer, they want him to kill this bully from school, the one that they had consented to activity with. So, okay. All right, I'll do that. So he goes and tracks down this guy and saves him getting his ass beat, because everybody is assuming, remember, there is a missing girl in town, a teenage girl. Everybody's assuming that it's this guy from prison. So he was getting his ass beat outside of a pub when our serial killer watches from a distance, waits till he's alone, grabs him and gets him in the car, and you think, oh my God, he's going to kill this guy because these teenagers are blackmailing him. No, he's smarter than that. Instead, he's like, do you want to die? Well, you're going to answer some questions for me. What do you think that is? It's made such perfect sense. It was really good writing in this movie. It's like, what do you think that I want to know? What do you think he wanted to know? So he basically says, you can die right now, or you can tell me who wants you dead. So he basically told him, I've been contracted to take your ass out, and I want to know by who. I want to know who wants you dead. So that was a cool twist to me. So the boy is like, he knows. He's like, oh, I can tell you exactly who wants me dead. So then we start getting the twist around. Because now the serial killer knows who these kids are that are blackmailing him. And this is when this movie turns into a slasher, straight up slasher. Because he's not going to play this game. He's going to take them all out. So him and the guy from prison, kid from prison, they kind of join up to isolate and get these three to themselves. There's a big showdown in a junkyard where the guy from prison ends up being killed by the two, by the three teens, and the serial killer. He's out there too. So that was pretty. It was a pretty good kill, and the movie continues to get darker and darker, and as it goes on, because now it starts turning into a like Don't Breathe and Saw kind of movie. So we've went from a teen angsty drama into like a thriller, and then we turned into a slasher torture kind of thing. So it was very interesting the way this movie evolved from what it began to what it became. So the girl has now been kidnapped of the teenage, and you have the two boys left. So you've got the three teens and the serial killer are left. The serial killer has kidnapped the girl and took her home to his house, where these teens know where that is because they broke into it, so they know. So they go there looking for her, looking for him, where he gets the blonde one before he can get there because he's looking for them too. So these two kids are going to his house to look for the girl. Meanwhile he's already looking for them because he's got to finish this up tonight. He finds the blonde guy and kills him ugly. You don't know that yet. The black-headed boy gets to the house. Nobody seems to be there. Now, this serial killer, he's got a wife and baby too, but you don't see any of them. He goes down into the basement, and there's the girl, the teenage girl. She's chained up in the basement, like don't breathe kind of thing. So she's chained up down there. The black-headed kid, he's trying to get her out. He doesn't know, he can't get her out. So he goes upstairs looking for the keys or some way to help her. And that's when he sees a body in the bathroom as he passes by, goes up to it, and it's his blonde-headed friend. That's when you find out what happened to him. He was killed on the street by this serial killer, in not pretty fashion either. So this movie is like really gotten dark and tense and scary. So the guy shows up while the black-haired boy is upstairs. The guy shows back up, goes downstairs, and he's going to kill the girl. He's getting out all his little torture tools, stuff like that, not knowing that the black-headed boy is upstairs. He comes downstairs, sees him into the basement, sees the guy, and tries to sneak up behind him. And he actually does pop him one good time with a knife, and this big fight ensues. The girl is screaming. This big fight ensues. He ends up against the wall. The serial killer's on the floor, but he's not dead. And then out of the blue, the serial killer's wife pops out of the darkness and stabs the black-headed boy right in the chest. He ain't going to get through that. There ain't no way. So you're like, oh shit. I didn't see that coming at all. And then she goes upstairs, washes her hands, and goes and sits out on the front porch rocking the baby like nothing's wrong. It's like fucked up. So the serial killer, he manages to get back up. He's hurt, but not badly. And he lays there. Well, like the guy did in Saw, where he laid there while the other two guys argued back and forth, but he was alive the whole time. That's what the serial killer's doing. So the girl, she's like pulled his body over, the serial killer. She's pulled his body over and gotten the keys and unlocked, and she's over there basically watching this boy die. Only to realize the serial killer jumps back up, grabs her, is going to kill him, and tell her the truth. So you're like, he's like, tell her the truth or I'm going to kill you both right now. So you're like, what else can possibly happen? What is he talking about? This is something the serial killer had already known. And that was the girl, the teenage girl that's missing in town. It's the black-headed boy. He killed her in the woods. It wasn't the serial killer. The serial killer just recognized one of his own kind. And he made the boy tell her the truth. that it was her who, that it was him who killed that girl that's missing. So he, of course, claims it was accidental, that he didn't mean to do that. Okay, fine, whatever. The point is, though, you still just killed this girl. So he dies right there. And then the guy, he kills the girl and takes her out to the woods. And or is that the alternate ending? I'm getting confused here. There's an alternate ending that I didn't really like it as much. Um, I'm confused about which one is the real ending now, because the movie has one of those alternate endings that's actually very different than the first one. So let me think for a second. Um, but then again, you'd have the tape, so you can see them both. But in either event, the movie ends with him putting her into the hole, um, or the movie ends. The alternate ending is she manages to kill him and goes running down the street to rescue. Um, I'm not sure which one is the actual theatrical ending though, but I know I like the one where she's there. So there's one where she gets away, or there's one where he gets away, and I'm not sure which one is the theatrical ending. But the even the DVD has the alternate ending on it, so you would be able to see which and choose whichever one that you want. There are some movies that I choose the alternate ending as my canon. I don't care which ending you put on there. If you give me some alternate endings, 2012, that's one of the big ones. The disaster movie 2012. The alternate ending of 2012 is phenomenal. The theatrical ending of 2012 sucks. It's so sappy and blah. But the alternate ending is perfect. So to me, 2012 ends with the alternate ending. In any event, so there you go. Acolytes. You think it's not a horror movie for the first 20 minutes. It becomes a horror movie, becomes a slasher, becomes a Saw type don't breathe situation. This is like a really good hidden gem, and I would urge you to check it out. I'm sure you could find it to rent, stream, free, but of course, I like my physical media. So, yes, Acolyte 2009, wonderful little movie. Directed by Jon Hewitt, starring Joel Edgerton, Michael Dorman, and Sebastian Gregory. Check it out if you get the chance. It's one of those little hidden gems that will blow you away. Um, that's how I try to be a little different than most of the channels, is that I try to highlight as many out of the way, not as well known movies as the big ones. As you saw with Halloween, though, I will get around to doing all of the big ones, but I like to try to highlight the lesser known movies. And Acolytes is certainly one that I recommend for your collection. Check it out. I think you'll like it. I Anybody who sees this in the future, love you, miss you, bye, and I'll see you in the next one.